Hey everybody, welcome to the Elite Women Live conversation series. This is episode 9. I've taken a 4-month hiatus from doing Elite Women Live for various reasons, but this felt like the absolute most aligned time to come back on and to do another conversation with a powerful woman who is making a big difference in leadership today. And this is what this conversation is all about. We have had a certain kind of leadership on the planet for a very long time. And I'm sure that most of you who are watching would agree that it's not working. It just isn't working. And so this conversation series is an opportunity to bring on who I believe are the movers and shakers and the leaders of evolving sacred feminine leadership on the planet. These are people who in their communities and around the globe are making a huge and positive difference by sharing their voice, by expressing their truth, and by being on their missions, on their paths to evolve humanity forward and to help our planet shift in consciousness. So today's guest, I'm so excited to have on. We actually did a Facebook Live conversation last week together. I love this woman because she's courageous, she's brave. We are on similar parallel journeys around the content that we're discussing. She's got an amazing live online event happening this weekend that you can still join in on. We'll talk more about that throughout this conversation, but we want to add some value to your day and just share a little bit more about the behind the scenes of what it takes to be an evolving leader in today's world so we can really make a positive impact and dent in the universe. So without further ado, my guest today is beautiful Kozmic Kaela. I'm going to share my screen. Welcome, my dear.
Hi,
welcome,
everyone.
welcome. So awesome to have you here. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing I just really admire about the conversation that you're having is, there's different ways of looking at evolving leadership on the planet, right? And what I think is so cool about what you're doing is you're taking a different spin on it and you're looking at it from a much more galactic and cosmic perspective, which for a lot of people may seem a little strange, right? Or out of this world, or they've never heard about this before. Yet what I know for sure, and I think I may have mentioned this in our conversation last week in your group, on your page, is that like over 50% of the population are really interested in extraterrestrials and ufology and learning more about this. So this is what is so fascinating about this work. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? And before you do, actually, I just want to welcome those who are joining us. If you're here, say hello, participate and engage. We'll have time for some questions. If you would like to put them in the comments below, and if you're watching the replay after, we'll be checking in on comments. Please participate and ask any questions that you might have. So without further ado, tell us a little bit about your thoughts around, the leadership and the perspective that you have around, how leadership is developing and how you're expressing it.
I really appreciate how you started off by saying, I hear a little feedback. Do you hear feedback?
Sometimes you might hear some feedback. I'm not sure why.
All right. Anyways, I'll just keep on going. So I love how you pointed out, Vanessa, how leadership in the old structure just is not working anymore. And I truly believe that it's because none of us can look outside of ourselves for answers anymore, plain and simple. We can't define ourselves by other people's perspectives anymore. We can't define our journey or where we're supposed to be in life by anybody else's perspectives. That entire system is absolutely crumbling while we are creating an entire new paradigm. Right. So it's kind of like we're unweaving with one hand while weaving with the other. And I don't know that I've ever experienced this type of death and rebirth at the same time personally, but those of us who are just in it and doing the work, if we can activate this throat chakra and start to share our stories and share our journeys, that to me is a form of leadership, simply because we're inspiring others and giving them permission to do the same. So I don't believe that I'm any more special than anyone else. I don't believe that, perhaps my Leo rising gives me a little like more courage to be on camera than someone who has like a Cancer, right? Like we all have personality types, but the bottom line is you can be a leader and be an introvert. You can be in a little women's circle, or you can do leadership plays out in so many different ways.
Yes.
And it ultimately boils down to us following our inner resonance and sharing that and attracting those who resonate with that, so that we can just lock arms and inspire each other.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I love that. I mean, I so relate to the death and rebirth process. It's been a continual feeling of out with the old and the new stepping in, out with old concepts, the new are coming in, and it's happening at the same time. It's not happening like 1 week, then the next 2 weeks I'm living this new. It's all happening at once. And I really love what you said about the piece. Like, you can be introverted and still be a leader. You can be in a women's circle or be amongst a group, and still have a voice and speak what isn't, resonant for you. And those who resonate with that are going to come on board. Because what I hear a lot is that a lot of people say, well, I'm afraid of being on camera. Like, I'll have clients that will be like, I really don't want to be in social media, or I'm not like you. I don't want to get up on stage and talk in front of people or be on camera, or I can't write the way you do or these other people do on social media. And I totally get that. And the thing is leadership is not just about being in the public eye.
Not at all.
That's why even with my work, I really love working with people who are community and global leaders. And I've said this a lot, like, community leadership is actually very undermined in our society. We tend to really idolize and say, well, if I'm really a true leader, then that means I need to be famous or I need to be on the world stage. And the truth is you don't need to do that. Leadership is first leading yourself. And I believe that a true leader is somebody who has the ability to discover the truth of who they are, to really tap into that. If you hear noise in the background, by the way, guys, we've got groceries being unpacked into the fridge right now. This is real life. And that's Jeffrey in the background. But, aside from all of that, it's really about discovering what is most true for you and finding the ability to express it in a way that is right for you, whatever that might be. And sometimes that can be from a little conversation that you might be having with somebody. Or maybe it is in writing a blog or sharing an email or, speaking in front of an audience. But it's really about finding your voice and having the courage to share it.
With integrity.
Right? With integrity.
With integrity, because some people, I think it's worth pointing out that some leaders ride their ego onto the stage, right? But I think probably, well, I know you and I, and most likely the viewers, we can sense that. This day and age, we can sense out integrity, and a true leader, I believe, is open and teachable. Like, I look up, if someone that I'm following is open-minded and open-hearted to hearing different perspectives and just, having that confidence, okay, I'm hearing your perspective and this is exactly why I feel the way that I do, or, I never thought of it that way. Thank you for that. Just that openness exemplifies leadership to me, because if someone believes that they know it all and then that just like, whoo, I am on my way out the door, because that's just like, you're putting a ceiling on yourself, right? And we are multidimensional quantum beings, and we are always learning and always growing. And by having these types of conversations, I mean, I know the viewers, you and I, we're always going to be awakening and unlocking different things within ourselves, whether it's validating what we already believe or opening ourselves up to new perspectives.
So well said. Yes. I'm right there with you. So, one thing that I really notice about us is that we're having conversations that a lot of conscious and spiritual leaders may not be having. And because we're talking a little bit more about bringing in the galactic, the cosmic type work. Mm-hmm. And this is actually, for me, it's really edgy still. You know, a lot of people are like, you're so brave. You have courage to do this. I'm like, I agree with you. And I'm still scared. You know, even this morning, I noticed that there was some fear for me coming up, having more of these kinds of conversations about the work that I've been doing, you know, in the last 7-8 months around the trance channeling work, the galactic type work. Mm-hmm. And what I think is so important, like for me, I think it's really important that we start to normalize this. Because up until now, you know, the new age, spiritual community, metaphysical community, the galactic communities, a lot of the mainstream or the masses have kind of seen this as being weird, or it's not being taken seriously, or it's actually bastardized. It's been so diluted by so many people, so many of these sacred, ancient understandings, texts, wisdom, all of that a lot of the times this work is not taken seriously. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, one of my greatest frustrations in being a galactic ambassador like you is trying to help other people understand why this work is so important, especially in this day and age. This is leading edge work, not because I think it is, right? Not because you think it is, because we're promoting or marketing or talking about this, but it actually is coming from a space beyond even my own physical body, from my own physical mind. This information is coming through because there is a preparation that is happening for humanity and our planet to really understand that we are multidimensional beings. So, I mean, for you, what is some of the ways in which you're normalizing this work? You know, so that people understand the importance of it. It's not just you tooting your own horn saying this is important. Like we're like activists walking around saying we need to understand what galactic work is. We have to have a better understanding of spirituality and its role in leadership today. Like I want to know, like for you, what are you noticing? What are you doing to normalize this type of work so that people, not just our tribes, but more people around the world can really get a sense of the importance and the urgency of understanding why this work is coming to the planet at this time, especially in the ways that it's coming through for so many of us?
Such a great question.
Cool.
I truly, I mean, in the simplest answer, having these conversations and just really demonstrating that we're not alone. Because I personally, I know since a little girl, I used to like stare out at the sky and like beg to go home, you know, and I didn't share that with anyone. And growing up, I kind of wrote it off. I did the spiritual life coaching thing. I did the hypno thing, the NLP thing. I worked a lot with the subconscious minds, kind of working with belief systems and getting back to and I just was like, okay, after a decade of doing this work, there's so much more that we're than just this dimension. What is beyond this dimension? So I just started reaching out to people that are open about it. And I started asking them questions and asking if they'd be willing to interview with me in front of some other people who might be interested. I watched my group. I closed my very thriving support group and I opened up the Cosmic Den and I watched my numbers go way down. Right. And I'm still watching my numbers go down if I'm going to be really honest. And you know what? I know that I'm just kind of finding my resonance and my and I'm okay with it is my point. Like I'm kind of cleansing the palette, if that makes sense, you know? Right. And it's like no disrespect to other people who aren't on at this resonance, no disrespect at all. We each play a role. And I personally need to be able to have these conversations. I need to be able to talk about my experiences and my upgrades and my downloads and my physical, you know, experiences as I'm going through this initiation, you know, and So to answer your question about how am I normalizing it, I'm just talking about it. And I'm reaching out to anyone who will have the conversation with me. I'm not trying to make it trendy. I'm not trying to make it about me. I literally am trying to get this information available to those who are ready for it, because I know I'm seeking more of this and I can't find it. So, okay, well then I'll create it. And it's all been so divinely inspired, meeting you, like meeting everybody on the panel, even from when I first thought of the program, or when I was first inspired by the program, to what the course has become. Even that in and of itself has become so much greater than I ever could have imagined. And it all comes down to collaboration. We each play a role. We each have something to offer. There is no competition anymore. Like, I call bullshit on comparing ourselves. I can't write like you. I can't talk. Okay, so what can you do? What does light you up? Good thing you can't do all the same things as me, because like we need you to do something different, you know? And so just really inspiring people to find their own signature, right?
I love that. Yeah. I mean, the conversation piece is so important. I mean, that's the beauty about, you know, Facebook, social media. We have the ability to connect with like-minded individuals at our fingertips and have these powerful conversations and collaborate, because without that, then we feel like we're lone wolves on this path, which often happens. And, you know, I think because this is so on the fringe still, this work, you know, conversations about galactics or cosmic or extraterrestrials or channeling, it's not, even for people in the spiritual community, I also find that it's very much on the fringe for them. Like there's still like you know, I don't know how to describe it, but like there is still like a box, if you will, that's kind of surrounding what spirituality is and what it is.
All love and light.
Right. And
we're going way beyond love and light.
Yeah, this is not about you know, enlightening it. I think that's a huge issue. Good vibes only movement, like that's all bullshit. It's fluff. It's crap. I'm just going to put it out there. It's definitely not helping evolution. I think that there is a stage in development for people. And I will say this with this caveat, it is not of judgment. The reason why I'm so strongly opinionated around it is because I have been on that path and I've seen where it doesn't work. But for people who go through it, there has to be an integration before there's a transcendence, right? Which is talking like a lot about spiral dynamics. You know, we can't transcend a level that we have not actually integrated fully. And so, you know, I'll just say this, you know, it hinders growth because it can only take you so far, because it's actually not really helping you to become whole. That's where, and to remember who you are, and having the access to other parts of ourselves requires us almost to go through those stages of spiritual development to get to this place where we can become more open to other things. Because what I'm noticing on this path of doing galactic work is there's so much unlearning happening, and a way deeper understanding of a lot of spiritual philosophies and concepts that I learned, that I used to teach, you know, some of them are still very prominent and are still very important, but there's a depth and a deeper wisdom and understanding of some of these concepts like presence and love and sovereignty, you know, these pieces that, you know, they're words that are thrown around a lot, but we don't actually embody or fully understand the depths of how this really works from an even higher perspective. Right. And that's what I think galactic work is giving us access to. It's getting access to our multidimensionality, that we are not just, you know, human beings. This is a very sacred and beautiful experience, but we also have the ability to have access to other parts of ourselves and other timelines and other dimensions. We have the ability to expand our consciousness beyond what we've been taught, beyond what we've been conditioned, beyond even the whole mindset movement of being positive and thinking positively, beyond even shadow work. You know, there's so much more to understand about the universe and about ourselves. And that's what's so cutting edge about this work, and why I think we're needing to dial in at this point, because the old way doesn't work, because we're also getting trapped in thinking that we are just from this physical time and space, that we are just this physical body. Yeah. And for a lot of people, that's like, it's just too much. Like this existence in and of itself is just too much to handle, right? Like being human can be really hard.
Oh yeah.
And I also feel like when we start to open up our consciousness, our awareness that there is more to just human beings, that there's more than just planet Earth and our galaxy and our solar system. There's a lot more happening in other dimensions and other universes, and there are other beings on other planets just like us. And some of them are already more evolved than we are. They've gone through what we've gone through, and that we have the ability to tap in and access their resources and their support, not fear them, but actually know that they're coming as love, as true light to help us evolve forward so we don't go down a destructive timeline, which I think so many people, I don't know if you see this or feel this way, are thinking that we're headed down. And so a lot of people think, well, the world is a fucked up place. A lot of bad shit's happening. My role in this is not important. My voice is not important. Look at what's happening. We're all headed down to a path of destruction. So I might as well just like check out, escape with TV, escape on social media, be miserable in my life or my job, because at some point this is all going to go up, and just we're going to obliterate ourselves. So I'm curious to know some of your thoughts. I know I've been kind of like speaking here for a little bit because when I get on these tangents, it just go. But I want to hear more about, like, for you, like, why is this work so important at this time? Like, why do you think we need to be having these conversations, Kaela? Like, it's so important, I believe, right now for a myriad of reasons.
Well, to your point of people feeling that we're just on our way to hell in a handbasket right now. That is also an issue that I have with the term manifesting, or the process of manifesting in the secret way. Is the bottom line is when you set your intention, everything unlike that has to come up to make space for that intention to manifest. So for the age of Aquarius coming in, and for us to be redefining community, redefining authenticity, sovereignty, who we are and how we women, everything that's not working. We have to feel it. We have to own our part in it. We have to acknowledge it and think, okay, that's not working. How can I participate in what will? How can I be the solution? I know I'm hearing that feedback too. I don't know. But so to answer your question, if we all escape, the chances of that overshadowing the golden age that's coming through could be greater. But the cool thing is, if we are all multidimensional beings, we have the ability to timeline hop doing, and we are ushering in this new age in a much greater capacity than the bullshit that we're all seeing on the mainstream news. Which is why we need to have these side conversations, because we're not being fed these conversations, or this hope, or this wisdom, or these tools, or this permission from the mainstream.
Yeah, and I mean, and there's a purpose to it, right? Because, truly, when we live in fear, when we live in separation, when we are hopeless, we are actually a lot more able to be manipulated.
We're perpetuating it. We're feeding.
Yeah, we feed into it. We are easily manipulated. And then the cycle just continues as we've been on. If we keep people disempowered and there's a sense of disempowerment amongst the people, then we will be disempowered. And I think the movement of, consciousness rising, these awakenings, the spiritual awakening that's happening on the planet is actually saying that really this is about becoming empowered by looking within yourself and tapping into the multidimensional self, these higher accesses, the higher access realms that we have as we develop ourselves, our channels, our intuition, our gifts and our abilities to become more empowered, because empowerment is self-generated. We cannot just be told how powerful we are by others. We actually have to embody it and experience it within ourselves. But that does not come from just how much money we're making. That does not just come from how many followers or fans that are on social media, or if we're, famous or any of that. It comes from really truly believing in ourselves and knowing who we are and becoming empowered from this place of sovereignty, which allows us to go out into the world and to be that voice, to be that beacon of light, and I think that's why having these conversations now is so important, because I mean, I don't know if you're noticing this, but I mean, things in our society, in the world, are really accelerating in a way where we're seeing a huge contrast in polarities right now. We're seeing a lot of the shadow that, as you said, is coming up to be released. I've had a lot of conversations with past guests around shadow work and how important it is. We're also seeing a lot of tragedies, a lot of policies, a lot of things that aren't working anymore in the planet, because we are in such an intense awakening and shift right now. And so these conversations are so important, because I think that they do give people hope. I mean, that's why I've been creating this. It's like, you're not alone. There is hope. There are people who feel similarly to you. There are people who are, at the same stage that you're at, maybe a few steps further ahead, and we need to come together and support one another. And the thing around competition, so true. I so believe in that as well. I mean, truly, you and I should be we should be competitors. We do similar work. We have similar beliefs, like really collaboration in the old paradigm wouldn't happen, because I should be looking at you as, well, I shouldn't be having her as a guest because she's doing similar work as me, and vice versa, right? I shouldn't have Vanessa on my event because as a speaker, because she's doing similar work as me. But the new paradigm is saying we need to come together.
Yeah.
And the power comes in numbers. When two or more are gathered, magic happens, and I'm reminded of this every time I'm asked to speak on a panel or to speak on a summit or a podcast or have these interviews and share my voice. And I'll also have the other individual share their voice, because now we have to start doing this more than ever. And as cliche as it sounds, the evolution that so many of us spiritual leaders have been talking about and dreaming about, that utopia, right? That new earth is not going to create itself.
No, it's literally here if we allow for it.
Right. So what I think is so interesting about this work, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it, is I think, about the followers piece, because I've had mine too, and I know that the more I'm outspoken about this, I'm sure, more people will not resonate, and then the right people will.
Exactly.
What I believe is happening is that these conversations are creating a lot of cognitive dissonance for a lot of people, especially when we talk about galactic work. Disclosure has not been something that has been widely spoken about on the planet. And it's being talked about a little bit more lately. I really, really admire Dr. Stephen Greer. I really love, obviously, Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham, and Paul Selig and Bashar, Daryl Anka. And, there's many other people that I'm not, speaking about. But, when we talk about the galactic sense, the cosmic sense, I'm curious to hear, like, for you, do you believe it's like a cognitive dissonance for people where it's like, oh my God, like this is so far out. And I've been like, we don't even know that extraterrestrial life exists, that there's life on other planets. This is crazy talk. Like, what do you think it is that creates such a polarity with this work versus just talking about spirituality? Like what do you think it is that creates that dissonance for people when we start to have these kinds of conversations about this type of topic?
I believe it's epigenetic programming. I really believe that generationally we have been fed that that's off limits, that we don't talk about that. And so you have to take responsibility, say, where did that belief come from, that I'm not supposed to be open-minded to this concept?
Yeah.
What am I afraid of listening? I'm really sorry about that. I don't know if that's on my end.
You can't really hear it. I apologize that you're experiencing that. I think it's a Be Live.
Oh, okay. Issue. Well, it's destructive to everybody else. But anyway, so I just really believe that it's up to us, and that's a part of sovereignty, is being open-minded and really exploring what is comfortable.
Yeah.
What is coming up for me, and where is the genesis of this? And if I don't know where it is from this lifetime, different lifetime, because we're multidimensional beings, and if we have illogical fears or illogical gifts or anything like that, it's very likely that we're bringing them in from other lifetimes and other experiences. So to off to the idea that there's extraterrestrial intelligence communicating with us and helping us evolve is really shutting off part of our experience. That's hybrid humans. It's like our fan base. Like, I'm scared.
Yeah, it's that's so fascinating. It's so for you, like what I mean, and so for people who are watching, you may not be in the similar role as like Kaela and myself, where you're talking about galactics or channeling or light leadership, whatever it might be. Everybody has their own flavor and their own medicine that they're bringing to the table, and because we're having such open conversation, polarizing conversation that can create dissonance for people, closed-mindedness, etc. I would love to know from you, like, what have you had to overcome to be able to be so self-expressed and outspoken about this topic? And for you watching, you can take that and like really bring it into your own leadership, into your own messaging and your own visioning and kind of interchange it. So like, I would love to hear like what you've had to overcome to get to this point, because you are so freely outspoken. I mean, you've created, Kaela's created a 3-day, it's 3 or 4 days.
4-day course.
4-day course. It's a live event online called Cosmic Immersion. And I mean, people don't know what it takes to put on retreats. They don't know what it takes to put on events. People only see the polished, finished product, and they get to experience the speakers, the material, etc. And what you have the initiation you probably had to go through, first of all, internally and externally, I can't even imagine at this point, because I actually haven't done an event yet. I've done, retreats, but you have had to overcome something to be able to bring this to the world, to birth this. So what have you had to overcome? Like, what has helped you? Like, what have you faced personally? If you're willing to get vulnerable here too, just to kind of share with everybody watching, like, what's your path been like to get to this point of being so outspoken about this topic?
I really appreciate you acknowledging the work, because it's not just putting on the event. It is so much work. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, I had to get really real about the frequencies I allow in my reality, in my field. I had to define how I stand to tolerate what I stand to tolerate in relationships. I had to redefine how I respect myself, how I see myself, how I treat myself, in order to expect these enhanced relationships that support this stuff. And through that inner work and cultivating this level of self-love from a soul place, it's not an ego self-love. It is like, okay, I get that I am a soul in a human body, and I now know I'm clear on my mission, and nothing's gonna me. And I've had to cut ties with my entire biological family, unfortunately. I've had to make some very challenging decisions to be able to stay on this path without that constant. It doesn't mean I don't love my family. It doesn't mean I don't love my friends that I used to really connect with in different ways. What it does mean is there's that Anais Nin quote where the day came where it became too painful to stay in the bud. You had to blossom, and that's just where I know I'm not. I know I have these other gifts that are coming. I can see lifetimes in the Temple of Isis. I can see these lifetimes where I'm singing light language. Why would I deny that? Because it makes these other people uncomfortable. I need to be able to talk about this. I can't fucking sleep if I can't talk about this. So I'm sorry. I'm not sorry that I'm alienating, or that's just a perspective, but that I'm shifting my business and my personal life in a direction that doesn't make a lot of people comfortable. But I really invite them to look within and see what's uncomfortable, because I don't have that much power to make that many people uncomfortable, but it's that cognitive dissonance that you're talking about. So those who are willing to ask me questions and to explore their own inner authority are still in my life. And they're still, exploring their own journey. And we may not always agree or see eye to eye, but there's a level of respect. And I can love you, but if you're not going to respect me, I will love you from afar. If you disrespect me, you're just not invited in my field. And that boundaries are a level of self-love. You know, and not everyone's willing to. And I don't talk a lot because I have a lot of people with a lot of opinions about it, and this is still my vulnerable piece, but I need to talk about it. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to, because it's real.
I first of all, I just want to thank you for being so vulnerable and so open about that. I felt choked up when you were talking about it. It's heartbreaking when the people that are closest to us that we love can't accept our paths and are so uncomfortable by the choices we make that they don't accept you and that they are trying to change you. And I think this is one of the hardest paths that light leaders have to go through. This is a big part of the initiation because we're in a clash of paradigms right now.
Yeah.
There's several different operating systems on the planet. Operating systems meaning the way our minds think, the way our minds operate, our beliefs, different belief structures, and ideas of what it means to be human, and ideas of what other humans should be. And it's painful as fuck when, the people that we've supported, that we love, can't return that because it makes them uncomfortable. And I also know, Kaela, and I feel you on this, it's heartbreaking. And it's so difficult to work through that. And I want you to know that you're not alone. I mean, this is one of the conversations that I've had and I go through myself. I think that this topic of galactic work and channeling, I mean, the coaching was one thing when I was really in my intuitive success coaching work and my healing work. That took years for family and even friends to understand and to get, and I was still out there. And then when the channeling piece came in, there is still that real feeling of like, I don't get this. I don't understand why you need to be doing it. People are going to think you're weird. I've also had those thoughts, like fear of like, I might be ridiculed. Even this morning, I was like, my God, like if I'm more visible with this work, the way I have had visions of it, I mean, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to lose? It is, yes. And there's also the fear, right? The fear is real, right? The fear is like, I'm going to be annihilated. I'm going to be ridiculed. I'm going to be destroyed. I'm going to be humiliated. And so I want to say to you and to myself and to anybody listening who can resonate with this part of our conversation, that you're going to have those fears, and you're going to have people who are not going to accept you. That is absolutely 100% going to happen. You're going to have to let go of some relationships. In your case, sadly, you've also had to release familial relationships. There are going to be people who are not going to agree with your path, that are going to want to change you, that are going to be so fucking uncomfortable by your choices and the things that you're talking about, because there's such a cognitive dissonance to their belief system, because they're in another operating system. They're in another, and it's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad, but it's understanding that fundamentally we have to go through this. We are walking through the jungle right now of life, like with a weed whacker, just going through the thick of all of this. And we've got a pack of people that are trailing behind, that maybe don't have to do all this work right now, but that is what it means to be a light leader. Like, unfortunately, we have to go through these initiations that are very painful right now, because the consciousness on the planet is all over the place. We have people from different generations with different belief systems, different mentalities, different religious backgrounds, different ideas of what it means to be human and not human, the things that we should and shouldn't be talking about. And we're going to have a lot of polarizing opinions about those things. And that's why these conversations and coming together as community and tribe, I think, are so fucking vital. Not only to not be alone on this path, but to also know that I'm not alone in having these conversations and these beliefs. And that's why we need to stick together and be in this with each other. Like, I have so much love for you, Kaela, and so much compassion around what you've had to go through to get to this place of being so outspoken, because I know how fucking hard it is. It's terrifying. It really, truly is.
And those fears also come from other lifetimes when we were burned at the stake. Our tongues were cut out, or you have to know that this lifetime that's going to happen. This is the lifetime. We're so fucking hard to get to.
It's so true, and that's why we're here. Yeah, that's why we're here. And I always like to say this as we just slowly start to wrap up. Your vision has to be bigger. The why, your mission. The reason why you are being relentless and resilient in your light leadership, it has to be bigger than the fears and the risks of what may or may not happen. It has to be bigger. It's like the idea of what we're able to bring through as light leaders is more important than somebody's opinion about us.
Absolutely.
And that's what we've really got to get clear on. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, every person who puts themselves in a leadership position is going to get shit thrown at them. Like, it's just, so that's why a lot of people don't really take this leap and put themselves out there, because oh gosh, there's shards of truth in that. Are they going to prove to me that all my worst are true, or are they going to validate that they really are a magnificent being with so much wisdom and so much inspiration? Isn't the risk of being like related to and understood and heard and inspire others that greater than oh God, they're talking shit about me. They're just not a resonance free anyway. So,
right.
Stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is that, exactly what you're saying. There has to be within yourself this inner strength and authority that's okay with that. Because the truth is, I think we said this last week, people might think this work is weird. These conversations are strange, but what if it actually is more strange and weird to be who we've all been in the past, or where a lot of humanity's consciousness is? What if that actually is the weird thing and the strange thing? But we're viewing this work, these kinds of conversations, as being weird because we've been told that this is who we are. And we've taken it at verbatim, we've taken it at face value. So you're right. Like, leaders go first. We're the role model for others. And this is how we're going to evolve leadership. The patriarchal way of running the planet is not fucking working. It's dead. It's gone. It's obsolete. I mean, it's so evident even to the masses now that how out of touch with reality, the reality that we're creating, the reality of where we are, it's just not working. And the more that we start to really revolutionize what it means to be an evolved leader by incorporating the divine feminine, the divine masculine into our leadership, and we embody that, we integrate that into our lives, into our livelihood, things are going to shift more and more. And the things that we've considered weird or strange, right, they're now going to become the new norm.
Absolutely. Thank God. And when you were saying, what if what we weird in a couple decades from now, it absolutely is going to be perceived,
right?
Like, really?
What? I can't believe we were thinking that way, or we were operating or treating the planet this way. Yeah.
Or who to be?
It's so true. It's so true. I appreciate you being on the leading edge with me, and for being so outspoken and resilient despite the challenges and the difficulties that you have faced on your path. You really, truly are a light leader, and you're doing incredible work in the world. And it's a privilege to know you and an honor to be a part of your cosmic immersion. So, at the end of every show, I love to give all of my guests the opportunity to also invite and share with people how they can stay in touch with you. And if you've got something that you may offer or invite to the audience, if they're interested, if they're resonant with, what you're doing right now. And I mean, you have the event coming up in just a few days. Can people still join in? Can they still be a part of this if they want to?
Well, I do have a free community, the cosmicdencommunity.com, Kozmic, community.com. And every week I drop another interview with another, someone who's mission driven, someone like yourself, right? And it's really important to me that I'm constantly offering valuable to seekers of any kind, whatever you label yourself as. So I'm always delivering valuable information in that group. So go ahead and join us. But the event that you're talking about, Vanessa, is the Cosmic Immersion, and that's the 4-day event, March 1st through 4th. Cart closes tomorrow, and it pretty much encompasses everything we've been talking about. So day one is all about just really understanding from a galactic perspective what this matrix is that we live in, what this system is that we were born into, how we can recognize it and decode it within ourselves. Day 2 is going to be accessing our multidimensional self. So Atlantis, Lemuria, our counterparts, that's where you're Vanessa, and really just remembering our parallel timelines to integrate all aspects of ourselves so that day 3 we come forward in our human experience having integrated all of that so that we can really embody our unique energetic signature rather than or just have an awareness of how we're designed through human design, so many different to help you and how unique you are. And day 4 is all about community. Just like what we're doing here, locking arms with other mission-driven, passionate people who are serious about doing this work. They don't just talk about it; they're actually getting their hands dirty and doing the work. And so, Cosmic Den Community is where we all hang out. But Cosmic Immersion, and we'll put your link in the comments. Vanessa,
yes.
You can join us for the 4-day live event, and then even if you can't make it live, you'll have all the classes to access. Awesome. Implementation guide. I'm doing light language activation every morning, so I'll be participate.
So exciting! And so, just also for just the recording for later, can you give me the address for Cosmic Immersion, just like so that people can check? Will people be able to go back after and access the event even when it's complete?
Yes, absolutely. They can purchase the replay. It just won't be the live community experience. But yes, I will have it packaged for the replay. It's cosmicimmersion.com, but you have a little unique link. So
yes. I will put that in the comments below for you guys if you want to grab a ticket and join us this weekend. I'm so excited. This is going to be an incredible event.
And it's a movement. It's not just an event. Like, we're already planning Cosmic Immersion 2.0, and there's also an affiliate option. So if you sign up, you can just share the event with your friends and make your money back. So it's all about getting information out there and make it.
I love it. Yeah, that's so awesome. I'm so excited for you, and you're just doing amazing work. And then for me, guys, if you are interested, of course, join me this weekend with Kaela for the Cosmic Immersion. I'll put that link into the comments below. And I have introduced and have launched now my new Light Leaders Collective, which is beginning at the end of March. It's I'll explain a little bit more in another video for you guys, but it is my latest group experience for light leaders, for people who've been doing the work for a really long time. This is not one of those typical courses or programs where you're doing heavy lifting, where you're doing tons of modules. It's a community-based experience with galactic guidance that is being immersed in this particular group experience in a beautiful retreat at the end of the 3 months that we'll be together. It's a really intimate group, maximum of 10 people. And then I've got Evenings with V back next weekend, and that is available virtually, so anywhere in the world, and also here in San Diego on March 10th. So if you're interested in any of that, I am happy to give you the information, and you can just private message me or drop a comment below, and I can get you that information. But Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. It feels like we're in a space of a lot of creativity and just launching right now and bringing these new offers and invitations to the world, you know, for people to become a part of it and to do the deeper work so that they can go out in the world and be their most true selves. What a gift that is, right?
So powerful. We all
Kayla,
have
I love you.
I love you, Vanessa. Thank you for having me. It's been so much fun.
Of course, always, always. Thanks for being in my life. Thanks for including me in Cosmic Immersion, and thank you everybody for joining. Just before we hop off, I just want to say hello to Andrea Roy. Thank you for being here, and Alfonso. So nice to have you here. And Andrea says that connection is what I need more on. Is because things are happening and I need to relate to others. Absolutely, we all do, Andrea. I'm so here with you on that. And Alfonso is in agreement with some happy faces, and Andrea says, yes, loving kindness, Cosmic Kaela. So true. I really appreciate, Andrea and Alfonso, your engagement and your participation here. So if this video resonates with you, please feel free to share it with your tribe, comment and participate below. Let's keep getting this work and these messages out into the world, into more people's lives. So thank you for joining us. I will be back with another Elite Women Live, episode 10, very soon. In the meantime, have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Much love. Thanks for being here, Kayla. And thanks for participating, guys. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.